So today we're going to talk about social media in welding and how social media has played an impact on what you do in the world of welding. So I'm going to take a moment to let everybody kind of introduce themselves, give them a little bit of background. So you guys, I mean, everybody knows who they are, but Barbie, we're going to go ahead and start with you. Tell everybody a little bit about what you do.
Oh my gosh, I am a full-time artist, author of 6 books, and a spokesperson, hopefully a good representative for the skilled trades.
Nice. Stephanie?
So my name is Stephanie Hoffman. I am the Program Manager of Workforce Development for the American Welding Society. I have about 20 years of welding experience, and I started out in the pipe welding industry and then worked my way up to education and now working with the American Welding Society. And I also own a fabrication company called Underground Metalworks located in New Jersey.
Nate?
I'm Nate Bowman, known as a weld scientist on Instagram. Kind of like a welding industry / like welding education advocate. My main job's I'm the director of welding optimization and education for a big regional welding supply company. So I help our customers solve their welding problems and promote new technology, out in the welding industry.
Nice. My name is Jason Becker. I run the Arc Junkies podcast. I'm also a full-time welding educator. And my whole mission in life is to help educate and inspire the next generation of welders. So some of y'all are older welders, some of y'all are newer welders, so we're trying to pave the way for everybody getting into this industry because there's room for everybody. Part of that being is social media. Social media has played a huge impact on how cool welding has become in the past couple of years. So we brought 3 of some people that do social media very well, how that's helped with their business, how that's helped with their brand. So we're just going to go through, we're going to have a little discussion, and hopefully the information you all hear from the panel discussion is going to help you out along your journey, not only with welding, but social media, promoting yourself, and growing your brand. So I'm going to start off with Nate. Is social media your number one way to market yourself? And what are some examples of how it's worked for you and how it's failed you?
I would say the number one way to market yourself is to do it in real life. You can only fake it on social media for so long. There's only so many welding photos you can take. So if you're doing cool things in real life, whatever it is that you're passionate about, that will translate into cool content that you can post on your social media. So I just kind of focus mostly on just trying to do the best I can every day in the welding industry and really do what I post about. And if I catch a cool photo, then awesome.
Okay.
What was the other part of that question?
How has it failed you in the past?
How's it failed me in the past? Oh man.
Yeah, lessons learned.
Well, I ended up having to leave a job over my Instagram account a long time ago, and it was a job that I really liked, but the Insta fame or whatever was a problem for some people that I worked with, and it was I ended up having to leave that company because I was this is I realized the importance of this, and I need to make a change. But yeah, sometimes it's been difficult.
Okay. And then Stephanie, same question. Is social media your number one way to market yourself?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I feel like a lot of people use it to market themselves. It's free, so why wouldn't I use it and be my number one way to market myself? I think, just hashtag and tag the crap out of everything, and it's pretty easy to do. And I don't think it's really failed me just yet. I haven't said anything too terrible on my...
Yeah, remember what you say today on social media can come back and bite you 20 years from now.
I try to be pretty...
True story.
Pretty even keel on there. I mean, I guess you could say it's a little bit like Instagram versus reality sometimes because,
right.
There's a place and a time for all that. So I try not to make any of those big fail mistakes, so...
Good. And then Barbie, same question.
Social media has been absolutely prolific in promoting my business. As an artist, I am working out of a one-car garage in a hometown of 1,900 people, according to the last census. I have sold art to clients in 15 different countries so far. I can't say enough about how important it is to share what you're doing in welding on social media. because this is how, we get the word out. We have such a deficit of people in the welding industry, in all the trades industries. And the more people see how amazing, the things that you're doing and like the different things that are involved in welding, the more it's going to snowball. So I just absolutely love social media. The connections I've made on there, it's just been incredible. I've had 0 failures through it. It's been 100% positive. In the beginning, when I first started out, I definitely got some hater mail through it, but it's just, you ignore what you don't like and you just focus on and connect with the people who are positive and uplifting. It has been absolutely just prolific.
I'm glad you brought up the international aspect of it, because a lot of people, they forget that Instagram is worldwide. It's not just people in your hometown, people in your state, people in the US. Like, I get DMs all the time from people in Australia, England, Africa. I think it's pretty neat to see the type of reach that you have, different countries. What are some of the tools that you guys have used to help grow your social media? Like some of the tools available on the social media site, be it stories, reels, checking your analytics. Like, what are some of the best tools that you've found? We'll start with Stephanie.
I wouldn't say it's a tool necessarily. I would say putting yourself out there and going out to like events like this, meeting people, taking those photos and tagging them and getting those reshares and stuff. I think, getting people to reshare you and see you from different avenues is really important. So tagging people, going out there and asking for that photo and posting it, those are ways to really grow your social media. And I think that helped me a lot, Sorry, Ray, I'm only friends with you for the hashtags and the tags.
And then Barbie, what type of tools through whether Instagram, TikTok, what are some of the tools and settings in those different applications you've used to help grow your business and help grow your following?
Right now, Instagram Reels are just hitting. Anything to do with video, it's just finding those quick moments, those things that you might not think that, it might be normal to you to like kick the vise and open it up that way, but everyone else is just like mind blown over it. So just maybe taking a step back and looking at yourself in, from an outside perspective, and like the videos, just anything, Reels, the TikTok has been just incredible. It's really grown, substantially quick on TikTok. So yeah, quick, fast,
Okay.
The way we consume content today is, we're just so busy. There's 5,000 people that we follow. We want to see all this stuff, so it's very very quick. So short, sweet, and to the point in the videos.
Keep it short for short attention spans. Nate, what type of tools have you been using?
I think the collab is kind of like what Stephanie was saying, just collaborating with other influencers, like your podcast, perfect example. Being able to do things with other people in the industry and reach their audience. You guys reach each other's audience, and then, before you know it, you got a community of people that all follow each other and know each other, and so that's been really good. Instagram Stories has been kind of a big test bed for me for trying to figure out how to explain different welding things. So I'll put something out there and I'll be all right, this is how this works. And then I'll just see what happens. I'm man, that sounded a little weird. Was that weird? I don't know. And then I'll get people messaging me. They're like, hey, that makes so much sense to me. I'm like, okay, all right, I'll use that later. But House of Chop, Phil, he's the guy that if you guys don't follow House of Chop, go follow House of Chop. He is the guy that does the best stories. He's great at talking to the camera, and he's the guy that encouraged me to do it. So everybody that likes the stories that I post, that guy is the guy that told me to do it.
Yeah, Phil's very animated.
That's
watching his stuff.
Smart.
Yeah.
Super smart.
So what are some of the, along with all the positive benefits that come along with social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, LinkedIn, how do you handle the negative effects of it? What do you do about the people that are in the comment section trying to bring you down or pick your post apart, or they're completely missing the point of the post and they want to focus on something that's not even related but it's part of the photo? How do you deal with Instagram trolls and the naysayers and the negative DMs?
Oh, me?
Yeah, I'll go with Barbie first.
Gosh. In the beginning, when I first started posting onto social media, I dealt with a whole lot of just, whether it was sexist stuff or just negative stuff. And you could have 100 positive comments on a post, and that one negative one just as a human being, is the one that, you know, I would focus on, and, you know, just, you know, you take it very personally. It took me a while to get used to and understand the fact that, one, you're not going to have Oprah Winfrey out there tearing other people down. Someone who loves themselves genuinely and would never put someone else down. And so it just took a while for me to understand, like, if that person is trying to put me down, they don't feel good about themselves, and it has nothing to do with me and everything to do with the mindset that they're in. And when I started to realize it, it made me feel a little bit more empathetic for them. Delete it. Delete it, don't comment back, don't waste your energy. These are energy vampires. They just want, you know, they're out there, like, they're just not happy people, so, you know, ignore it. I'll be like, you know, 3 sentences into just roasting them. Roasting, and I'm just like, yeah, just let it go. So,
Yeah.
Stephanie?
No, I mean, Barbie and I have actually had this conversation before. We sat down one time after working on the sculpture, and we were sitting at lunch, and I asked her about it. I said, you know, like, people have said something to me, and it, like, has legitimately, like, hurt my feelings, like, and I don't know how to, like, respond to it, and I want to respond, and then I think about it, and it's like, F that guy. I don't need to explain myself to this person. Like, they don't even know me. You know, people will comment on something, like, they don't even know my background in welding. They just assume something that I don't know anything. They don't know how many certifications that I have state licenses in welding, like, you know, to instruct people. But they just assume. So I think it just, like, realizing that, you know, these people are just buffoons and they really don't know anything and they're not worth your time. That's the most important thing. And then just having good people to vent to when you do get those comments. Yeah. And you just vent to those, like my poor husband. I'm always like, they said something mean to me. Like, you know, some lady, she gives me a compliment. She's like, you know, I love the Netflix show, but you were really rude. And I'm like, well, F you, lady. Like, you could have just left it at that. Like, did you really have to add that last sentence? And I don't know what kicks these people get out of it, but, like, you know, you just take it with a grain of salt, and, like, I'm learning, and it's hard. It's hard for everybody. There's nobody in here that wouldn't get upset if somebody said something really nasty to you that you don't know, and it's weird to take something so personally from somebody that you've never met, you never will meet, and they would never say it to your face, but yet you take it to heart. It's just, now you just gotta learn to, like, laugh at it a little bit. It's easier said than done, though, unfortunately.
Yeah. It really is.
So along with that, like, have you guys found it necessary to kind of take breaks from social media, just, like, step back and be like, you know what, I'm not gonna Instagram, I'm not gonna Facebook for, like, a week or two. I'm gonna kind of let things die down, you know, just to kind of relax, because it can be overwhelming at times. I mean, you're in the middle of, like, working, taking care of family, you got side business, and the next thing you know, right now my phone, you know, you get notifications and DMs and, you know, like, all this, and it's kind of draining it sometimes. So do you guys ever take, like, breaks from social media? We'll start with Nate.
Breaks from social media. I probably should. Like, I really like working in, like, in the remote areas, like when I don't have cell service, and I just don't have cell service, you know? Like, when I get Starlink on the mobile lab, then I'll be like, oh, I can't get away from the internet. Like,
oh, darn.
You know, so, but yeah, I definitely think that taking breaks from social media, like, one big thing that I started doing is, like, I won't post anything if I don't have anything that's, like, if I'm, like, trying to, like, go through like, should I post this? Like, no, just don't post it. Just don't post anything and come up with something good to post later, you know, and just, I think that, like, doing that, like, once you reach a certain point, like, if you're doing something that's cool and people want to follow, they're going to follow you. And then, you know, that following will build, but I just don't like, get involved in, like, trying to, like, cram content out there. And I think that, like, maybe just, like, trying to do, like, a little bit less. Like, I'll post something, I'll work on it, and then I'll, like, leave it alone for a while.
Okay. Steph, what about you?
I mean, I feel like sometimes I get kind of down in the dumps because, you know, my job with the American Welding Society is to spend 18 weeks of the year with that trailer sitting behind us and on the road. So my whole fabrication business, everything shuts down for 18 weeks. And I kind of feel, like, guilty, like I'm some type of fraud. I'm out here promoting careers in welding, yet I haven't welded for the last 18 weeks. You know, so it's like sometimes I do find myself going through old photos and stuff, trying to post something so people just don't think that the only thing I do is stand next to a scholarship winner and smiling, you know, because they just want a scholarship. You know, there's a lot more to what I'm doing out there. But, you know, cats capturing moments of like having these conversations with thousands of kids every week about careers in welding and their parents and, you know, ex-welders and, you know, current welders and stuff like that. Like, that stuff's really important to be doing, but it's not that glamorous to look at in a photograph on Instagram or a video. So, you know, sometimes it's hard to balance stuff, but like, you always have to remember to stay true to who you are. And you know what? That is my life right now. You know, that trailer is my life. So,
Okay.
sorry for all the trailer pictures.
Sorry,
Barbie?
not sorry. I love it. I love social media. I never want to disconnect from it. I love the connection with people. To be able to have someone write to me and write back, hear other people's stories and how they got into it. I wish I had more hours in the day. If you don't see me on social media for a while, the only reason it's like been a few days is because I'm just so deep into sculpting that I just, you know, I'm exhausted and I've fallen asleep at my weld bench and cannot write to you right now. But yeah, I love the personal side, like the social side of social media. It makes my heart so happy.
So on average, like, how much time do you think you spend per week on social media? Oh, somebody feels guilty already. Let me finish the question. Do you ever, how much time do you typically spend throughout the week on the various social media platforms? Because you're everywhere. I see you.
We're like,
LinkedIn.
Barbie, all of these people are here to talk to you about your social media. Not really.
I hit about 2 hours before I even get into the shop in the morning, and probably another hour to an hour and a half in the afternoon. So about 3 to 4 hours a day on social media, between posting and then responding to people who have interacted with the posts.
I kind of do the same. Probably about the same.
Yeah.
About the same?
Between like LinkedIn, Instagram, yeah.
But posting? I don't know.
Not posting,
No,
but
it's
just like
the
working. You know, whether
Yeah.
it's like putting a story up,
I mean, I don't
responding
know.
to. I respond to a lot of messages. That's a huge
Yeah.
That's probably 95% of my time on Instagram is responding to.
You're sweet.
People sending.
I apologize to anybody here that has sent me a message.
I responded to everybody's message. I have one unread
Same.
message right now.
Same.
I wish I
I
was-
respond to everybody's message.
That's
I'm
my biggest
terrible.
downfall is I don't like to see the notification icon.
Me either.
And so it's like an OCD thing. So I'll open it up and be like, okay, I'll respond to this really quick. And then it turns into like a 2-hour conversation
Yeah.
with somebody. But it's cool because like I've met a lot of people throughout the show that have walked up and it's like, hey, thanks for taking the time to respond to my post or answer my question. It's like, it's nice to meet you in person. Thanks for doing what you're doing. So, I mean, you get to, especially coming to Fabtech, you get to see the impact and the reach that you actually have through social media. Because we only get to see one side of it. And it's
Yeah.
like this side of the screen. But then like there's legit people on the other end, that we're helping out, we're inspiring to get into the trades or, sculpting, artistic work, or like deep into the settings and the science of stuff. So I think it's really cool just to have that part, that interaction with people.
I think that's a really good point. Because when I was kind of coming up in the industry, I didn't have this level of support that a younger welder would have now. Like when I was 19, 20 years old or whatever, welding, they were like, why are you posting pictures of those photos or taking pictures of the photos? I didn't have a place to post them.
Yeah.
I was just taking photos so I could show my friends. I'm like, dude, look at this weld. Look, I'm welding this stainless thing. Like, look at the color. And they're like, all right, dude, cool.
Nerd.
Yeah, nerd, welding nerd. And now it's like, they're like, hey, I saw your welding photos. They're great. I'm like, yes,
Nailed it.
thank you.
Yeah. I always think about when I started welding school 20 years ago, the first time I struck an arc, and thinking about what I was doing in class and stuff like that, if I wish I had people to just at the click of a button on my phone to watch a weld.com video or check out something that Barbie made or hear some awesome stuff from Nate, to have that, I feel like, well, how good could I have been by the time I left high school or where I am in my career, I feel like if I had those things, kids now, they have an incredible resource of just knowledge and inspiration at their fingertips at any moment, and it's pretty awesome.
Exactly. How
And
many
most of
of
us
y'all
all-
learn with your hands?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kinesthetic learners, right? That's pretty much everybody. You're going to learn with your hands. And visual. So most people that learn with their hands are also visual people. So to be able to see what other people are working on and try and replicate that, and then having the accessibility of reaching out and saying, hey, what settings were you running when you were, dialing or when you were welding out that lug on that trailer? Or when what amps were you running on the Swift Cut CNC when you were going through there? Or like how did you bend the hair on the sculpture? Like just being
giant hammer.
being
That's
accessible.
always the answer.
It's really cool to be able to replicate that. And like when all of us were growing up, we didn't have that resource. If it wasn't in a textbook, or your welding instructor couldn't tell you, or like somebody didn't know, you weren't going to see it. You weren't going to find out.
That you gotta go ask Carl.
Yeah, and you're like, no,
I don't like Carl. He's mean to me.
Carl
You're
hates
like,
everybody.
Carl knows,
He
though.
smells funny.
Yeah.
Carl hates everybody. He smells like black coffee and Marlboro.
Yeah. But Carl knows.
But Carl's a good dude, man.
Yeah.
Carl knows.
Yeah.
Get on Carl's good side.
Yeah.
Let's see, if
I
there's
was not.
anybody out there that doesn't believe in the power of social media, what would you tell them? Start with Barbie.
Oh, wow. My garage is 12 foot by 23 foot long. I'm, again, live in a one-horse town. It's an amazing town, very small town, and have sold art to clients in 15 different countries. So I've made the most incredible connections with people. I have had the most insane opportunities. It's my life. I still don't even believe it. It's still very surreal, but yeah, social media is the most powerful tool for your business besides this tool right here.
Steph?
To say to somebody that doesn't believe in social media?
Yeah, they just don't see the power in it. What would you tell them?
I don't think I would have. I feel like people like that. I just be like, all right, good for you, and I just walk away. I mean, I'm not trying to like sell somebody on my lifestyle or the things that I think are working for me. And hey, if that's your choice and you want to do it the hard way and have to go out there kissing babies and shaking hands every day, and that's up to you. But I think it's great that I can go online and post something up, and I can get a whole bunch of orders and requests from people in different states, and it took me 2 minutes to make that post, and I just made those connections.
Yeah.
I think that's a much better use of my time, especially balancing a family and basically 2 jobs, one for the American Welding Society and my company. I think, to me, it's a no-brainer to do it that way.
And the ROI is tenfold because you've got a free account and it's free to use.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nate, what about you?
I think social media is kind of like the modern day telephone. It's, people, you can use it for whatever you want. The same principles apply. If you get a message, you can respond to it or not respond to it. If you get a phone call, you can either pick it up or not pick it up.
Right.
You can follow up on things. You can follow through on things. It's just another tool in the toolbox, and it's work. It's definitely work to use it, and it's a skill. And if you don't have the skills, you probably don't see the value in it.
Right.
That's a great point. It's a skill.
Yeah, it
social
takes a
media
long
is
time
a skill, and
to figure it out.
It starts with one follower, and everyone that has a giant social media following started with one follower. It's about having patience with yourself and learning the skills behind it. You can literally YouTube anything. How do you build an organic social media following on Instagram?
And so what do you think, Nate, what social media platforms are you on, and which one has performed the best for your goals?
Obviously Instagram is probably the main one, but I do a lot on LinkedIn. A lot on LinkedIn. LinkedIn's your modern resume. Most people, my resume is literally copied and pasted right off my LinkedIn, exactly word for word. It's the same thing. And it's a great way for people to notice you and say wow, what is this guy doing? Oh, he's worked here, he's done this. I'll give away my big secret. There's a company that you want to work with. Go on LinkedIn and look them up and find the people that work there that are in the departments that you want. Spend some time, take a weekend, whatever. Find the company, find the people, and just add them, connect with them, And then if the stuff that you're doing is cool, they'll reach out to you, or you'll reach out to them, or at some point you might meet up in the future. That has worked out really well for me. That's how I got the Tweels.
Nice.
Turns out the guy was from North Carolina also, which, when you call him on the phone, which is a skill.
Yeah.
And he answers the phone, and in the first 10 seconds, I'm like, where in North Carolina do you live? And he's like, how do you know that? I'm like, I grew up in Pineville. And he's like, brother. He's like, yeah, we'll set you up with some Tweels, man. We got to stick together,
Nice.
know? But it's like I said, it's a skill, and it's using LinkedIn. I think is something that's underutilized. It's a lot more tame than Instagram. You got to be like super dialed over there, but
A little bit more professional.
But yeah,
Okay.
LinkedIn.
Steph, what about you? What platforms are you on, and which one do you think's been your most powerful tool?
You know, I'm not gonna lie, I'm honestly not the best with social media and like staying up on top of all of them. You know, I have a Facebook and I have a LinkedIn, but really I just stick with the Instagram stuff. I just find that my audience is a lot more engaged over there. I know I should be better with the LinkedIn and all those other things, but you know, I'm trying to balance. I have a 13-year-old daughter at home and a husband and 2 dogs, and it's hard to put yourself everywhere. So I think if you are going to put your time into something, put your time into something that you really you find the most enjoyment out of. And you know, maybe later down the road I'll start getting more into the LinkedIn or this, you know, Facebook or something like that. But for right now, I just kind of stay in my lane and just kind of do my thing. I mean, I've only been on. I haven't been on social media for that long. It's just been about 3 years now that I started an Instagram account. So it's not, I mean, and in 3 years, I went from just starting an Instagram account to having a Netflix show because of Instagram. So, I mean, it's kind of crazy. That's where they found me, you know? So, I mean, get out there and put yourself out there and you know, tag and hashtag the crap out of everything. You never know who's going to end up seeing it, so.
Okay. Barbie?
I am on TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Each different platform lets me reach a different audience. LinkedIn is more professional. There is where I can go and be inspirational. Instagram is more the BA, kind of like arcs and sparks stuff. Facebook's where my mom and dad is. So it's like, you know, a little bit more tame with that. TikTok is our future, in my humble opinion. Like, TikTok is where the younger generation is. And these guys are, you know, you're able to capture people. TikTok has been prolific in the last about year and a half. But 95% of my business right now is also LinkedIn. I am pulling sculptures and commissions off of that. That has just been, that is presidents of companies are seeing it, and owners, and you know, are seeing what I'm doing, and they're just like, you know, we want you to come in and build a sculpture for us, or that. So LinkedIn has just been absolutely incredible, and the connections with people on there. Just, yeah, lovely.
One thing I have noticed is a lot of employers, you know, they're researching the individuals via social media. You know, so when you submit a resume and a job application, employers are checking out your Instagram profiles. And I think that's a good thing in one aspect, that, you know, they can see a working portfolio of the type of stuff you've worked on and what you've done and who you've connected with, and, you know, the type of work that you're performing, your level of productivity. The downside is, you know, they can also see everything else that you're posting on social media. You know, so when you think about applying for a job, or, you know, you're creating your own brand even as a potential employee. So be very careful about what you're posting, when you're posting it. You know, hanging out at the bar, having a couple of drinks, probably not the best time to do a story or go live for some of us, you know, depending on, you know, what your aspirations are within the welding industry. I mean, you guys feel the same way?
If you're a professional like beer drinker, then like that would be the perfect time to do it.
It depends on what your brand is.
It just depends on what you're doing. Yeah. If you're trying to like, you know, try to be like a youth group leader, probably not a good idea. You know? Yeah, be super mindful of what you post. One of the things that I do in my Instagram account is I just delete everything or archive everything that isn't cohesive in the thing from the beginning. Like, how many people like will go to your Instagram account and scroll all the way to the bottom? Like, no one. Who's got time for that? Like, it'd be kind of weird if they did. Some people might, but like, it'd be kind of weird if they did. So all that old stuff that you have in your Instagram, like, clean all that stuff, archive it, put it someplace else, so that if someone does scroll through your Instagram, it's not like, you know, like 2 really nice photos and then like a photo of like your lunch. Like, that just doesn't, you know what I mean? So think about your wall of photos or whatever is like just like something that someone can scroll through and look at, like the same way you would look at somebody else's. So that's something that I do, is like clean up all the old stuff. I'll post something for a few days, and if it's not like working the way that I want it to, or I don't like how it looks next to the last photo or the next one, or I get a better photo of something, I'll just delete it and like post a new one. Okay. It's like a work in progress kind of thing.
Steph, Barbie, anything to add?
I do think if you want to be seen as a welder, you keep your lunch, your kids, your dogs off your social media. It depends on what your ultimate vision is for what you're doing. But for me, like if I go to someone's page and I want to see their art, I don't want to have to work hard to see their art. And you know, we all have limited time, and so it says, how can I make it as easy as possible for people to see what I want them to see? And so you don't want them to have to, like you said, like keeping it clean. I won't go back and like delete my old stuff, because I still, it's fun to go back and be like, holy crap, you thought that was cool.
Yeah. But you got to keep some of the classics in there for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you got to keep those in there.
That's why I like Dad's Wellington's page, because he has a lot of his older stuff, so you can actually see the progression from when he got on there and where he's at now. And then you can put a timestamp on there, and you can look at it and be like, oh well, you know, he was at this level 2 years ago. We got to get this man mic'd up. He's made mistakes, and he's learned, and this is his living document. This is his journey through welding, and this is where he's at today. And it's like, damn, you know, if I work hard and get in the hood time, within 2-3 years, I could be at that level, you know, seeing it that way. So I mean, there's different ways to look at it. Right now, what I'd like to do is kind of open it up to the audience to see if I've been hammering on for a little bit. Does anybody in the audience have any questions for Steph, Barbie, or Nate?
Yeah, just got questions.
Right up here, sir.
Hey gang, brilliant discussion. Question for you, what 5 languages do you speak?
Oh, I speak TikTok, Instagram, profanity, music quotes, and English.
Oh, it's on your Instagram. I saw that. Yeah. Nate, you mentioned House of Chops or something.
House of Chop. Yeah, House of Chop. Yep.
C-H-O-P.
C-H-O-P.
Okay, all right.
House of Chop.
Nice. Final one. You didn't spend a lot of time talking about Facebook, which kind of surprised me.
I stay on Facebook because, with all due respect, it's more of an older generation. It's more of my mom and dad's kind of thing.
There's a lot of haters on Facebook too.
Yes.
Like a
See,
lot.
Yes, that's right.
Like just a lot of I don't really have a lot of success with Facebook either. I would like to, but like I have a Facebook, but like, you know, it's like pictures of like me and my girlfriend and my dogs, and you know, like no welding stuff.
I've cleaned up my Facebook quite a bit and just dropped a lot of people.
Yeah, same.
Facebook's like my personal one. So if I can take out my cell phone and call you like physically or meet you for coffee, you're probably on my Facebook profile. If we've never met, you're probably not going to get on there. It's more like my personal side. Instagram's kind of like the business side. And you're right, there's a lot more haters and trolls on Facebook.
Yeah.
And it's like, it seems like it's either the younger generation that's like really immature, or like mom and dad and, you know, the grandparents, you know, that's where like my grandparents or my parents, they stay in touch with my kids and stuff, because that's where I post that type of stuff.
It's like Carl at like 11 o'clock at night.
Damn it, Carl, on us back again.
Friday night. Yeah. He's just like, this stupid welding podcast. Yeah.
I know Carl. No. Any other questions from anybody else in the audience? No?
No questions?
Come
no
on,
questions?
people.
None
Covered
whatsoever?
everything?
You there with the face. No. Nobody? All right, well, yes, sir.
You got another question? We'll take more questions.
Yeah, come on up.
Definitely.
Video is obviously really important to you and to all of you. And you mentioned LinkedIn, which kind of surprised me how effective it would be for your industry. But I'm now seeing a lot of comments about video on LinkedIn.
Sure.
Do you use video on LinkedIn?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, you got to think about like, who's looking at LinkedIn? This is like people that are sitting in an office probably. Like, and unfortunately, the people sitting in the office pull a lot of strings and are the people that like make stuff happen too, like on their side of the industry. So if we can post stuff that's like entertaining to them, or just looks cool visually or whatever, and we can catch somebody's eye there, you know, it's just a different demographic, different audience, you know, different things, but it still works the same way. So video, I think, is absolutely effective, but like the videos can't be like, what's up everybody, smash like and subscribe. Like it can't be like a YouTube video. It has to be something like a little bit more formal, a little bit more put together.
That's I found that you can actually recycle a lot of your content. So it's kind of like, it's evergreen content. You know, if I upload a 30-second video of something that I'm doing in the shop, that's something I can throw up on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and LinkedIn. You know, you just got to remember, keep that audience in mind, because some of the stuff you post on Instagram may not be appropriate for LinkedIn, but as welders, everything that we're showcasing is relevant on all the different platforms.
I can use the same content and then put a different message. So Instagram's message, same video on Instagram that is on LinkedIn. LinkedIn might be an inspirational quote based around what I've done, and then Instagram might be like, hey, how did you like this kind of thing? So just think about your audience when you're posting.
Yeah. Any other questions?
No.
No? All right, well, everybody, I want to thank Nate, Stephanie, and Barbie for coming out. Thank you all for coming, showing your support, checking out the show. Make sure to follow, like, and subscribe.
Yeah, smash
All
that
the
like
panelists,
button.
smash like and subscribe. Appreciate you guys coming out. Stay tuned. We got other stuff going on. Arcs and Ales is tonight from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Northman Beer and Cider Garden. So make sure to come out for that. AWS has panel discussions going on every day at 1 o'clock right here. So go ahead and reserve your spot tomorrow. Thanks, everybody, for coming out.
Oh, thank you guys
Thanks,
so much.
everybody.